biblical oils and ancient biblical healing. Got a lot of people actually requesting that I explain to them what the workshop is about, and I just realized that it's so, the workbook's done, the content is written, the book is written, which is 8 chapters, and it is 4 years of life, 4 years of experience, along with 14 years of a culmination of understanding the scriptures from a Hebrew perspective and from an ancient perspective. As you know, myself and Daniel's lifetime motto is to return to the ancient path and walk in it. So we have had an understanding of the ancient path spiritually, but within our marriage, and decided to actually begin to walk in it from 4 years ago. So at that time I had come through, I would say, the cleansing of the Torah, in the sense that you have to undo a lot of things. You have to change the way that you think, you have to change the way that you read, you have to change the way that you eat, you have to change the way that you dress, you have to, all of that. And it was a culmination of being, which is a good thing, an alienation from your old self and from the old world, but a feeling of being alone, being left without answers, nowhere to go, no one to ask. That's my own personal testimony. And looking into the world and seeing the destruction of women through the lens of the amount of destruction women were causing, at the forefront of principles and establishing rules and establishing rights and taking ground, which is actually going to end up in the destruction of mankind, never mind of women, left me even feeling even more without answers. And at that point, it was 4 years ago, we had just come out of the pandemic, and everything was a mess. And I was genuinely crying out to Adonai, what now? Where to now? And the answer that I got, and I wrote the song at that time, was, Sarah, come to me, Gan Eden. And at that point, myself and Daniel were also realized to say, we are committed. We committed to each other, we committed to the Torah, we committed to discovering what is truth. We were searching for spirit. But we didn't have any proof or evidence of this in our lives, in our home, in our marriage. We just had this highly heavy level of commitment, and we wanted more. And that was the first message that we got, come to me, Gan Eden. And we began to ask, to say, show us, teach us the way. And as a result, Adonai began to heal our marriage through this concept, a concept of returning back to Him, a concept of understanding that my soul and my spirit and my physical being, or first of all, my soul and my spirit needed to make shalom with Daniel's soul and his spirit, and his soul and his spirit needed to make shalom with me, because of what had happened 6,000 years ago within the Garden of Eden. And because of that misunderstanding, and that we rebelled against Adonai, and that the outcome of rebelling against Adonai was that we were removed from His presence, and for a desire, especially as women, for a desire of wanting to be like Elohim, or to be Elohim, to be a God. You could see that is at its fullness in the world. I mean, it is quite hectic out there. Sometimes, well, I'm very grateful that I live at the end of the road and there's no through road. sometimes when I go into town, I feel very displaced. When I watch the news, I'm really not sure. I know news is there's a lot of inflammatory news and hysteria. I do know that. So the purpose of this workshop is to give women the tools that I received through dreams and visions and through applications, while Daniel was also at the same time, Adonai was downloading in him from an evidence perspective, what is marriage, what is the covenant, what is echad, what is intimacy in its truth, all these concepts of the bride and the bridegroom. He was also downloading in me an ancient biblical woman strategy that was seen through dreams and visions, taking me into the lives of Sarah and showing insight, taking me into the lives of Hadassah, into the lives of Chava, and experiencing what happened in the garden, and into the lives of Miriam, the Toph Miriam, which is my drum. And a lot of my experiences with the drum, when I saw that, just to speak a little bit of the drum, I'm very aware that the drum is in other cultures and has a bad connotation. However, I saw that this drum was in the scriptures and in my dreams and visions. A lot of the time when I was experiencing what was happening in the world and the spiritual attack that was happening against women, the drum came to my rescue. One of the dreams that I had was of myself and Daniel being under immense attack, and these bus loads of people, they were Israelites dressed in white and their turbans and their tzitzis and whatever, arrived, and they arrived with this song and this drum, and we were saved. And so the concept of Miriam is about worship, drumming, dance. It's a very, very beautiful understanding that Adonai gave me, specifically because along the way I had lost that part of me. I had lost the joy of serving Yahweh. I had lost the joy of life, because I had taken 14 years or now 10 years to deprogram myself, but the deprogramming came with a baton of trying to beat out this paganism out of me, which needs to happen, but there's more. There's just so much more for us to experience, and that's some of the answers. It's very, very difficult for me to explain. It's a little bit of I will share from the experience, although tested with Daniel through evidence in the scriptures, through the Hebrew language, is sound, but the experiences are my personal spiritual journey. It has a very deep spiritual and mystical approach, practical also in the terms of how to emulate Sarah, how to go back into Chava's life and activate Shalom within Adam and Sarah, how to dance like Miriam authentically and where to dance like Miriam for victory over the enemy. And also the Hadassah strategy. The Hadassah strategy is so beautiful. The message that I got, if I can just say that, was when I was asking Adonai, why is this happening? And in the dream he said, Sarah, I've opened your eyes for a very short time. Evil is at its zenith, but I'm raising Ben David from out of the ground, and you'll look like him, you'll talk like him, you'll carry his sign. It's time for Eben to speak, and I'm not talking about the rocks in your garden. And he said, the ancient gates are opened, and it's time for Hadassah to stand. And then he gave me the Hadassah strategy. And the Hadassah strategy was the table, and the table is yours, Sarah. This is your place of influence. Use it. So in the Hadassah strategy, I explain what I experienced, what I saw, what is the table, how we use our influence, and looking into her life, how she was queen of the world at that time, and she didn't go in and storm the courts and demand to be heard and all of that there. She knew her position, she knew where her strength was, she knew her position on earth, she knew her position in the heavens, and she used it. And I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for her. And if you are a believer in the scriptures, neither would you be alive if it wasn't for her today, because at that time in the world where her husband was king of the world, her people were the known believers. Her people were the true guardians and custodians of the world. Therefore, she's my great grandmother, and all the women of Israel at that time, but her in particular. And it's to go back into those places, ask Adonai to reveal, to teach, to give us those strategies so that we can be the standard, like these people were the standard of beauty, the standard of intimacy, the standard of righteousness, the standard of power, all of these things, but in truth and in spirit. So that is some of it. Okay, blessings.